If you're watching this video on YouTube, remember, if you have a question, comment, or suggestion for me, you can post it on 3D Game Man, and the link is provided below. Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3dgameman.com, and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Sony A57 camera. The box has your typical Sony color theme. It looks quite nice as well. There's lots of pictures, features, and specifications about the product on the box, and they also tell you what is included, plus some other recommended accessories. Now note that Sony actually gives you a 2-year warranty with this camera. Inside the box they give you this e-coupon. This is 15% off. I believe you have to register though. This is on other digital imaging accessories. The warranty card. Some information here on lenses and other accessories. A couple of manuals, one is English and the other one is French, and software. Included as well is a strap, a battery, and note that this is an M battery, not a W, and this one should give you a little bit more life than the W. A USB cable. The 18 to 55 lens. And by the way, the lens and the camera is in this bubble wrap, which is good. Also, the camera is in this plastic bag. Now let's have a closer look at the camera. Oh, and they also include a wall charger. A little flip out here at the back. This would go into the outlet. And then the battery just slides in at the front. Now I wanted to give you a size comparison between a more compact digital SLR and a regular size digital SLR. The more compact one is on the left. It's a Sony A33. By the way, this is the same size as the A35 and the A37. The regular size digital SLR here is the one on the right, and this is the A57. Now, does size really matter in this equation? Well, yes and no. If you have small hands and if you want a more compact digital SLR that you can fit into a bag easier, then possibly go with a smaller, more compact digital SLR. However, if you have medium to large size hands, you're going to find that compact digital SLRs won't feel right. They'll just kind of like fall out of your hand because there's not a lot to grip onto, as opposed to a regular size digital SLR, which feels a little bit heavier, and it also, gives you that little bit of extra grip than the more compact models. Now, speaking of weight, it might be a concern for some, although there isn't a big weight difference between the two. However, if you are holding the camera for an extended period, you can notice the difference. So if you think you might possibly want a more lightweight option, well, go for the more compact digital SLR. Now, first of all, let me go over some of the features and specifications about this product, and then I'll have a closer look at it. It comes with this very cool translucent mirror technology, and this directs light to the image sensor and phase detection AF at the same time, and this translates into speed and precision. Now, the sensor that's in this is the Exmor APS HD CMOS sensor, and this allows for just incredible image capture, of course, both on stills and in video. Up to 12 frames per second, that's incredible, but it is at 8.1 megapixels, 10 frames per second at 16.1 megapixels. It's capable of full HD recording, 1080p at 60 frames per second, and that means that's going to give you some really silky, smooth, incredibly detailed video. Now, this is a pretty neat feature. It's called Clear Image Zoom. It basically increases the efficiency of the lens up to 2 times using a process that digitally magnifies the center of the image with, some distortion, but not a lot. this is excellent, especially if you don't have a telephoto lens, or maybe you do have one but you want to get that shot and you don't have time to attach your telephoto lens. Now this next feature is probably one that I won't be using a whole lot, but if you're shooting portraits, you might love this. It's called auto portrait framing, and basically what it does, it automatically saves an additional shot with optimal frame positioning by combining frame detection and bi-pixel super resolution technology. The reason why I don't like it a whole lot is because if you take, a picture and it detects, somebody, a person being in the picture, it automatically saves that additional shot, and sometimes you don't really need it because if you're going for a portrait close-up shot, you're probably going to shoot that anyway, so it's kind of, in my opinion, a little bit redundant, but pretty darn cool in some cases because, maybe you want that portrait shot from an image that you took and you didn't take it, but now you have it because you have that extra portrait shot. It also has Auto Hdr, and this captures a number of images, with a wide range of highlights and shadow detail and that type of thing, and it gives you one stunning single image. It comes with a gorgeous 3-inch high resolution LCD, and it's even very readable in direct sunlight. The resolution on it is very impressive, 921,600 pixels, and it has true black technology, so the LCD will really give you a true representation of the pictures or video that you shoot. The viewing angles on this LCD are excellent, and to be honest, most times you're probably going to be looking at the LCD directly on because you have so many tilt and swivel options. I'll show you those now. You can swing it all the way down. It goes around to get some nice shots like so. And you can even swing it back up. And this is excellent if you're, like, for example, throwing it in a camera bag or somewhere where you don't want to damage the LCD screen. Now, Sony has their own SteadyShot, and it's inside the camera. This will give you image stabilization that's built right into the body of the camera and not in the lens. So that means that you can basically get lenses for this camera that are relatively inexpensive, that don't have, any kind of SteadyShot incorporated in the lens. And most of us know what SteadyShot does. It basically steadies the shot, so you can get better images in low light, or for example, if you're shooting a long distance and you have a long focal length. Now, it has this very sophisticated sweep panorama mode, and you're not just talking going horizontally, you're talking about going vertically and horizontally. Now, it's not perfect like any kind of panoramic kind of technology, even smartphones these days have that built into it, but still it does capture an enormous image if you want to, get an image without having a wide angle lens or something along those lines. It also has this multi-frame noise reduction, which captures 6 images at once and creates a single image with a reduction in noise equivalent to 2 additional steps of ISO sensitivity. So this can get you some amazing shots. Now, if you want to mix things up a bit and significantly increase the visual impact of your photographs, and who doesn't? Nobody wants to look at boring photographs, right? You can. Picture effects include 11 modes and 15 effects. It comes with a very impressive 15-point autofocus and subject tracking technology. Basically, what this does is give you the ability to switch your camera into auto mode and not have to worry about the subject. Perfect if you're in a hurry and you can't set it up manually. Now, this is an A-mount 18 to 55 millimeter zoom lens. It's certainly not the best lens on the planet, but you have to pay major coin for lenses, that are of amazing quality. But for most people and most applications, this lens is perfect. The lens mount type is Sony A-mount, so any Sony A-mount lens will work, the Alpha series lenses, but if you don't want to get a Sony lens, you don't have to, just make sure that it will fit. The aperture max is from 3.5 to 5.6. The aperture minimum is from 22 to 36. Now, one thing you have to remember to get when purchasing a digital SLR is a decent filter. I have a Sigma DG UV 55 millimeter filter, and for the most part, this is a pretty standard filter that will allow you to get good shots if you're outside, inside, or pretty much in any environment. And I've had this filter for quite some time. It works perfectly. Now, thankfully, they include a very impressive lithium-ion M battery. The model is the NPF500H. How many images is it capable of taking? Of course, this is approximate, but they say 550 images with the viewfinder and 590 images with the LCD monitor. Now, you might be scratching your head going, what? You get less with the viewfinder? Yes, you will. And I think it has something to do with the resolution of the viewfinder, which, remember, is electronic. So that could be the reason there. The viewfinder has a higher res than the LCD and thus would consume more power. Now here's a closer shot of the back of the battery for those that want to see all of the details. Installing the battery is super easy. They even have an arrow on the battery. Just insert it like so until it snaps into position, then flip the door up. If you want to remove the battery, there's a little lever right here. It's blue. Flip that up and the battery pops right out. Now let's have a closer look at the camera. At the top is the flash. Behind it is the microphone. You also have a button right here where you can disable the flash. That's very convenient to have. A release here for the lens. Push it in, then you twist the lens counterclockwise to take it off. Autofocus and manual focus, which you'll note is also on the body of the camera. There are two strap mounts, one on the left as well as another one on the right. Here we have a number of connections. The remote, DC in, mic, as well as a mini HDMI and mini USB connection. Now you can go automatic or completely manual. This camera has all kinds of different modes. You can choose which one you want by rotating this dial. It also shows you more information about the mode in the LCD screen. This is a scene mode where you can select, whatever scene you want, whether it be portrait and so on and so forth. You've got a mode here that's completely automatic, but it doesn't have the flash. You've got an intelligent auto. You've got a superior auto, program auto mode, aperture priority, shutter priority, completely manual, movie mode. You've got a continuous priority mode here, a 3D sweep panorama mode. This is the basic sweep panorama mode, and back to scene. And the menu button, which brings up the menu, and I'll show you the menu in just a minute. Here's the electronic viewfinder, which if you set into an automatic mode will automatically come on. So as soon as you put the camera up to your eye, it will turn off the LCD screen and turn on the electronic viewfinder. You'll find a sight adjustment for the viewfinder at the right. Here's the movie button, so you press that to capture video. You also press it to stop capturing video. These two buttons have a number of different functions. You can zoom in and zoom out, whether you're doing playback on a picture or a video, or if you're actually shooting video. You can also use those buttons in combination with the dial on the front to increase or decrease the aperture or shutter speeds. There's a red activity LED, and this will light up when the memory is being accessed. And by the way, this camera takes standard SD cards. When I insert it here, you will see activity. Here's the function button and a number of other quick select buttons. Like for example, you can select white balance without having to go through the menu, display, and so on and so forth. Here's the play button, as well as the delete button and help button. Now, if you're an amateur or a semi-pro photographer, you probably won't be using this help button a whole lot, but it does give you lots of information about basic techniques for shooting, portraits, landscapes, night scenes, shooting close up with macro. It really does help out, especially if you're a little bit of a novice. At the top right is the viewfinder LCD button, and this allows you to, on the fly, turn on or off the LCD or the viewfinder, so you can switch between either one very, very quickly. Here's the ISO button, exposure button, on-off switch, a dial which will basically increase or decrease a number of things like volume, aperture, shutter. Here's the shutter button, and I will press it to give you some idea what it sounds like. And here is the remote sensor as well as the self-timer lamp. Now there's a button on the right side of the camera. You can barely see it. It is here, and this is the preview button, focus magnifier button. It checks blurring of the background and allows you to check the focus by enlarging the image before shooting. Now let me go through the menu. Some of these settings I have changed, like for example, the default aspect ratio is 3:2, and that will give you the 16.1 actually megapixel image that you can capture with this particular camera. I'm choosing to go 16:9, and that will maximum go up to 14 megapixel, but you've got other options here if you want to choose them. Quality, you've got a number of different options here. You've got clear zoom image, you can turn that on or off, digital zoom on or off, a number of different options here as well. SteadyShot, you really want to keep that on. Here are the movie options. You can change the file format, the record settings, audio recording, wind noise reduction, SteadyShot. More settings. Notice red eye reduction, you can turn that on or off. And this is pretty neat. You can change the ISO button and other buttons as well to pretty much whatever you'd like. So if you don't want the ISO button to be for ISO, instead metering mode, you can do that. And the options and settings continue. Now this is the SD card options. Format, your file number, you can do the series or reset, and so on. Time and date as well as area settings. And here we've got LCD brightness and so on. So as you can see, there is lots and lots of options. I'll provide a link below to some of the images that I took with this camera, and I'll also provide a link at the top of the screen to video that I shot with this camera. The look, the feel, the weight, the overall features and performance on this camera is exceptional. Now you can get higher resolution and so-called better digital SLR cameras. However, this camera, in my opinion, has major bang for the buck. Now it is still fairly expensive as of January 2013, but if you can find this on special, you have got yourself a camera that has major bang for the buck. This camera is perfect for a pro, an amateur, even a novice, somebody who's looking into digital SLRs and they want to have more flexibility when they are taking pictures. And remember that this camera does come with that help feature that will guide you through it if you are a novice. I know a camera like this looks very intimidating, but once you jump in and with the help that comes along with it, it really isn't that bad. Now, if you can't find the A57 on special, or maybe you want a smaller digital SLR, go with the A37. Now I thought I'd go through this because a lot of people think that there isn't much of a difference between the A57 and the A37, and there are subtle differences, and for the most part they are pretty identical, but there are some big things that could make a huge difference to you depending if those things are important. The A57 comes with a larger LCD screen that is thinner, 3 inches as opposed to 2.6 on the A37. Also, the LCD has a much higher resolution, 921,000 dots as opposed to 230,000 dots on the A37, and that's substantial. As well, the A57 shoots much faster at 12 frames per second versus 7 frames per second on the A37, and it supports 24p, which will give you that real film feel, and also the A57 gives you a longer life battery. Overall, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and please note that pricing for this product is available on the 3D Game Man video review page.